What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Super excited to have you back here. We got another good one coming at you right now. I appreciate you guys checking out the last one. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to switch things up a little bit, do something a little bit different on this channel. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Today we're going back to our roots, a little bit more educational content. We're starting a new series, which I guess is going to be like Programming 101, learning how to set up your own resistance training program using variables like volume, load, frequency, intensity, all this type of stuff that you may not know about right now that hopefully you will have a good grasp of at the end of this series. So this is going to run for a long time. We're going to try and cover everything we can, and at the end of it, you will be able to program the basics for yourself. Now, obviously, I do programming for my own clients, but I think it's important that everyone at least has a basic understanding of how to program these things. So hopefully these videos will be a good jumping off point. They're going to be very basic. We're just going to touch on it just a little bit, but there are tons of resources out there for you to dive a little bit deeper if I kind of pique your interest a little bit. So today we're going to focus on one specific variable of hypertrophy or strength training, and that is load. So load can refer to a lot of different variables in a resistance training program. The weight that you're using, your range of motion, your rest times, a lot of different things. And it goes hand in hand with variables such as volume, frequency, and intensity, which are things we're going to touch on down the road in later videos. But basically, without understanding load, you cannot move then forward onto other aspects of programming. So for all of you that have already fallen asleep, I don't blame you. This can get a little heady, this can get a little high concept. So let's take it down a notch. Let's talk about it just in its own components. All you need to understand is that more progressive load equals bigger and stronger muscles, right? That sounds good, doesn't it? Okay. Within load, we're going to focus today on a very contentious topic between researchers and gym bros alike, right? It's across the whole spectrum, and that is rep ranges. So to talk about rep ranges, I want to tell you a little story about little baby Jonah way back in the day. Cross training for football, I started working out and I started lifting weights, and that was something that I had never done before, but I instantly was like, oh, this is cool. I like picking up heavy stuff, right? So I did a little digging, and I basically listened to the seniors that were on the football team, and I did a little bit of my own research, and I kind of figured that there was a specific magical rep range. And I don't know if you guys have had this same experience, but it was the hypertrophy zone. Basically, if you did weight training in a rep range of 6 to 12, your muscles were going to grow huge, you were going to get bigger, and that's all I really cared about, because at 14 I was really fat, but I wasn't really big muscularly. So I was like, oh, I got to just work out between 6 and 12, and if I go to 13, it's going to screw up the whole plan. Thinking back, obviously that's not the case, but you'd be surprised about how many people are actually still believing that myth, right? So what I wanted to do today is kind of break down the idea of a perfect rep range for each idea. I've heard and I was taught that if you worked in low rep ranges 1 to 5, you were working on strength only. Your muscles weren't going to grow, you were just going to get stronger. So you needed to work in 6 to 12 reps to get bigger, to increase muscular hypertrophy, and you needed to work in 12 to 20 to 25 reps to increase muscular endurance. So thankfully, there are people out there who are much smarter than me that actually research this. And this name's going to sound super familiar, Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, a fan favorite on this channel, one of the best biomechanic and resistance training researchers that we have. Thank God for Dr. Brad. He has set the stage for research in this field. So Dr. Brad and his team did what's called a meta-analysis, which, if you are unfamiliar with a meta-analysis, is taking a look at the entirety of the literature in a specific given topic. In our case, it was 21 different studies. That's massive. And really seeing the efficacy of those studies and if they're actually testing what they're supposed to be testing, and then realizing what the conclusions were, kind of putting it in a nice package so that you could not have to read all 21 studies, but still understand the general literature of a specific topic. So a meta-analysis is super great. It takes in a lot of different studies and kind of packages them for the layperson. Right here, the guy who doesn't want to read 21 studies but still wants to know what's up. So I found the paper super fascinating. Obviously, we don't have enough time to go through the whole thing. I'm linking it below. Please check it out. It's awesome. It's very simple to read, very easy to understand. I will summarize it a little bit for you. I'm going to look down at my notes so that I get this right. But basically, what Dr. Brad and his team found was that with strength goals, conventional wisdom holds true. Working in a lower rep range at maximal loads, 90, 95%, even 100% of your 1 rep max will increase strength. And so if your goals are like a power lifter or a strongman and you need to work in those maximal loads, continuing training in that style is going to reap the most benefits. So if you're trying to get strong, it's probably wise to do most of your training in that 1 to 5, maybe 6 sometimes rep zone. What's really interesting is when they went to the hypertrophy zone, things got a little bit more nuanced. So based on their analysis, they found that there is a benefit to moderate rep training, but there's also a benefit to low rep training and higher rep training in terms of hypertrophy. So basically, go freaking nuts, man. Go from ones, heavy singles, all the way up to 25s, whatever fits your training best. If you want to work in a more moderate rep range, that's totally fine. You're still going to reap some benefits. If you want to test yourself, if you want to get under heavy weight and go for a max squat or a max deadlift or a max bench, that's not going to ruin your hypertrophy goals, provided that it is programmed intelligently. So to put a neat little bow on this little section of the video, let's quote the International Journal of Strength and Conditioning, which says, athletes can achieve comparable muscle hypertrophy across a wide spectrum of loading zones, so different rep ranges like we just talked about. There may be practical benefit to prioritizing the use of moderate loads in hypertrophy-oriented training, given that it's more time efficient than lighter loads and less taxing on the joints and neuromuscular system than very heavy loads. While training with moderate loads seems to produce the greatest practical advantages, preliminary evidence suggests a potential hypertrophic benefit to employing a combination of loading ranges. Super cool. Don't listen to the gym bros. You can get a lot out of low rep training, out of high rep training, and out of moderate rep training. So let's be a little bit smarter with our programming, right? So that's the research. But now how do we take the research and apply it to our own life? Because we want to be as efficient as possible, and we also want to understand what is going to give us the best hypertrophy for the time that we put in, because working out is hard work. Making sure your diet is on point is hard work. So we want to make sure we're being as efficient as possible. So my recommendation is, and someone like me or another coach will be able to program this for you if you don't want to, but understanding when to utilize a hypertrophy block of 6 to 8 weeks, staying in a rep range of 6 to 12 reps, or saying, okay, I don't want to step on stage. I'm not going to be a bodybuilder. I don't care about the exact peak and size of my bicep. I'm in the gym for general strength and to have some fun, for general health. I want to be a better human. So I'm going to bring in different rep ranges from all over the place, but you're still going to get a great stimulus and you're still going to grow a little bit. So obviously, if your main goal is strength, you should be doing the majority of your training in the strength rep range. 1 to 5 is a pretty decent estimation. However, if your strength is hypertrophy, go nuts, baby. Do the majority of your work in your hypertrophy zone, 6 to 12, but throw in some endurance work, throw in some strength work, test yourself, right? And this really only applies to the top of the top who want to be on a powerlifting competition or who want to be on a bodybuilding stage. If you are in the gym for general health and for fun and enjoyment of life, just understand that you have all of these tools available to you. You can train just strength. You can train just hypertrophy in the moderate rep range, or you can do a combination of everything. I find that switching things up can help keep things stale for my less committed clients, right? My clients who are just there for general health. If we switch to a strength block, it may break up the mundane, every day 6 to 12, 6 to 12, 6 to 12. Okay, we're going to throw in a strength block. We're going to switch things up. We're going to change our thinking, right? Utilize that in your own personal training. Understand, okay, I've been doing 6 to 12 for like 6 months. Let's try something new. Let's try a strength rep range, right? Utilize these different things and understand that you have the freedom to do that. You're still going to see results. It's still going to be awesome. You're going to get stronger and you're going to get bigger at the same time. Like I said, guys, this is video number 1 in a new series that I'm hoping will provide a solid bedrock for anyone who wants to start programming for themselves. Hopefully this was helpful for you. You kind of have a grasp on rep ranges and a general idea of load. As we move forward, we're going to be talking about everything else that you need to understand programming for yourself: volume, frequency, intensity, all of these variables that you can manipulate to get the most out of your training. So you better subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos coming in the future. If you liked the video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. hit me in the comments down below if there's anything that you have questions about, or you just want to chat a little bit. I'd love to talk to you. I hang out in the comments all the time. Catch me on Twitch, on Instagram. The papers will be linked below. All the links that you would ever need are going to be linked in the description below. Go check it out, man. I appreciate you guys so much hanging in, watching this video. If you're still here, I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Get strong and stay strong. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.